Welcome back, everybody, to the Nevin Shapiro Fan Club experience. Today, we're going to get into a couple things leading up into the spring game for Miami. Nevin has a couple things that he would like to discuss, some coaching things, maybe some recruiting things. So, we're going to get into it for you guys. Please like, please subscribe. We've been dropping videos every week. We appreciate it. We just passed 100 followers as well, so we're going to be dropping that shirt. Let's get into the action. Things have been a little quiet heading into spring practice for Miami. Have you heard anything from your sources regarding any updates?
I know Kevin Beard is an unsigned coach as of March 1. I don't know why he wouldn't be re-signed. I seem to hear some rumblings. I would take him as pretty accurate. He's a good guy. I think he did a great job last year. And if he is not retained, I'm going to share what the issues are. I'm hoping he is retained, but if he's not, I'm going to let everyone know why he wasn't retained. People could think what they want. That's one. If he is not retained, Lamar Thomas or Reggie Wayne has got to be the next receivers coach. And I say that not because I don't like Kevin Beard. I do, and I don't think he should be forced to resign or not renewed. So let me just make that clear. Kevin Beard has done a really good job. Reggie Wayne's a Hall of Famer. Not yet, but we all know he is, and he will be. And Lamar Thomas is a University of Miami Hall of Famer. They're okay if they get replaced, but I wouldn't... if he goes elsewhere outside of those two, I'm calling for an investigation.
You heard it there. There's only a few question marks on the staff, like you just mentioned, going into this season. Okay, how would you grade Mario Cristobal's staff on a scale of 1 to 10 currently?
That's a good question. I don't have enough knowledge in all candor to give him a number, because the new defensive coordinator, Corey Heatherman, I think is his name. I'm not in that day-to-day grind. I don't know what Mario hears or what other coaches hear and who's a hot rising candidate and this and that. I can tell you one thing, based on last year's defensive performance, not recruiting-wise, but performance-wise, I'd say it was a 0 last year. Maybe a 1, because you have to get a score for showing up, I guess. But I can't answer that question. I don't know enough. I think Will Harris was a good addition in the defensive backfield. And I only say that because of recruiting knowledge. I don't know as a game day coach. I don't know what really went on there. I've also heard rumblings that he may be NFL bound. I don't know how accurate that is. I can't give a grade on the staff. I think Jason Taylor's done a really good job for being somewhat of a new coach. He's been a really good recruiter. I'm sure he's had a lot to do with some of these defensive guys coming in who wouldn't want to be coached by a Hall of Famer like he is. I thought Damian Lewis was a good hire. I would still like to see a guy like Sapp in the mix. And, some of the things I've heard, I can't make that guy's decisions for him, Mario, but maybe he's got his reasons for not wanting too many former guys around. I don't know. I can't answer that. I can't give you a question on his coaching staff. It looks formidable, but really at the end of the day, Mike, it's going to come down to production.
So the University of Texas is not having a spring game among many other programs for tampering reasons. Do you think Miami should follow suit?
I think everyone's going to follow suit. The NCAA is really just the absolute joke of society. I think we've touched on this. I certainly know I have a million times over. I wish I could sit down with them in some kind of hearing type setting to really expose the frauds that they are. But everything going on, spring break, like they've just broken tradition in college sports. Things are just not what they used to be. And we just did our, podcast last week with, the two former Canes. And you can just see we're just in a different generation. And I don't like it. I always say the kids should get paid, no question. No one's going to dispute that. But there's just no guardrails, and there's just no boundaries, and it's tampering. I mean, you can't even recruit your own kids. You got to new kids to come play for you. You got to recruit your old guys not to leave. It's become just such insanity that how could this model sustain? I don't know. Tampering, spring game, it just sounds stupid.
Is there any player that you foresee having a standout season this upcoming year for Miami?
Yeah, there's a number of guys that I think, so much depends on Carson Beck and his health
Yeah.
and learning the new system. And he probably will be okay if he's healthy. He's been playing football at the college level already 4 years. So it's not like this is a new rodeo for him. But I see some of the young receivers being in a situation where they're going to have to break out and will. Think the kid, what's his name, Malachi Tony?
Yeah, Malachi Tony, yep.
Has
Heard a lot of great things about him.
Yeah, I look at this kid, Josh Moore, and I see a big receiver.
Yep.
Josiah Trader. I'd like to see Ray show up, get his chance.
Yep.
I've been hearing a lot about him not really getting playing time and being held back, so hopefully this is his chance. Defensively, the one kid I'm really interested to see is Justin Scott, the defensive lineman.
Yep, from last year, yeah.
Yeah, he came in 5-star from Chicago.
Armando Blount.
Armando Blount is
Maybe
another
getting his
one.
opportunity, yeah.
These guys they're going to have to really build a whole new nucleus because that last nucleus sucked.
Yeah.
And so those are the guys I'm really interested in saying, the receivers are going to be good because the system is going to allow them to be good, I believe. What's special, the difference between good and special is like Jeremiah Smith and others, right?
Exactly.
Not to say one of these guys can't be,
Right.
but I think that I think the system's going to allow our offense to shine no matter what. And even though Cam Ward was incredible, but Carson Beck's, he better be. They're paying him a lot of money. That's expected. It's not hopeful. It's expected. But I would say some of the defensive guys, I really want to see who's going to come through as a linebacker. I'm not really digging our linebackers for real. This kid Popo Aguirre may be really good. I remember the kid Malik Bryant was coming in as a linebacker. Now they dropped him down to an end.
Yeah.
So, man, we need some dominant linebacker. We just need a great defense, man. You know what I mean? We're going to be as good as our defense is. That's
So
just
you
the
was
truth.
built on that defense.
It's really, and the more I talk with the old guys, the more I really just come to realize that we're built on D, and then everything else forms after that.
One of the guys I'm looking forward to a lot because he had such a great first year is O.J. Frederick.
Yeah, I've heard great things about him away from his first performance, and from what I'm told, that was Alonzo Highsmith's very last specific recruit and personnel move.
Yep.
And he was a very not highly regarded player. So that tells you how important being a personnel guy is to spot talent. It's just urgent.
Especially a guy like that who could pick something out that some people can't see. He has a knack for that. It was like a Butch Davis kind of, knack where you could see a guy and be like, okay,
Listen,
that guy's got
Russell Maryland, who became the first pick of the entire NFL draft. You can't go any higher than that. He had one offer. Illinois Wesleyan. I believe it was Butch Davis. If it was Butch Davis, it was Dave Wanstead. But we picked him out of nowhere. He had one offer. Became the first pick in the draft. So, a lot of it is I don't put a lot of hype on these 5 stars and these star ratings, and I just don't believe in it. There's a lot of kids who don't have the money, don't have the resources to be able to travel to some of these camps, so they don't get recognized or noticed. And there's a lot of kids out there that can really play. And you see it because we get DMs. So guys send me stuff all the time. And I'm like, this guy's got 1 offer, 2 offers? I'm like, no way.
Right.
No way.
Yep. We
No
get DMs
way.
a lot.
Yeah.
On people sending their huddles and everything. And there's some insane
And
talent.
I love it from that end of it. I love seeing a kid. I just love seeing kids do well, man, and just get opportunities. I'm just always been about the underdog and guys that play that. A guy like Xavier Restrepo is a great example. He was not even spoken about as a recruit for us. He wasn't even, he was the all-time receiving leader at the University of Miami. You just don't know. You know what I mean? You can't judge what someone has inside. You just can't. You
Yep.
know?
100%.
So, anyway, those are my thoughts on the personnel stuff.
Last question I actually have for you is we recently sat down with two greats at Miami, Benny Blades and Tolbert Bain. What were some of your takeaways from that interview?
Really, very, very fulfilling for me. Probably more so than for you because you don't remember those guys. You weren't born yet. The difference in attitude and mentality, and not to say today's Miami teams potentially can't be great. They can. Everyone has a chance to carve their own legacy. But the mindset was so different in those days. And even comparing them to the 2001 team, which to me is an amazing contrast. That 2001 team, talent-wise, and what they did in the league is unprecedented. There's nobody that can contest that in the history of college football. However, I give a lot of respect and props to that 86 team because I just remember how just violently nasty they were. And they were violently nasty. They set the standard for the University of Miami. 83 won the first title, but that 86 team was just a different level of ferocity.
Mecca.
And I just hold them in such high regard. And I'm not saying they're better than the 2001 team. So let's not go there. But what I'm saying is they fear no one, and they back down from no one, and they take a backseat to no one. I still to this day can't believe they lost to Penn State. And that to me is just suspect. And Vinny Testaverde. I'll never accept that. That team was so great. So great. And anyone who was around and saw it knows it.
Yeah.
Including teams they played. They know it. Those guys were just violent. Off the bus. And, but anyway, yeah, my takeaway from that was we're just in a different generation, man. We're in a different generation, and things are just different. Kids get paid now. And dudes used to come in hungry. Dudes don't come in hungry now the same way because they got something to fall back on and they got a little bit of cash. They're not going to bed hungry. Those guys were going to bed hungry. And, it's a change of the times, man. Just the times are changing. That's all it is.
Yeah. For me, it was so surreal sitting in a room with legends and then you being involved in that interview as the legend of the booster world, in a sense. And it was just like a nostalgic thing, having the old guys and you and we're all just kind of bantering and I agree with you, like their mentality going into a football game, like you said in that podcast, they knew they were going to win. They didn't think they were going to win.
Yeah.
They knew it.
Yeah, that was a very special group of guys and a very unique team that really was the trendsetter for collegiate sports, period. In general, basketball, like that later UNLV team in basketball, you may not remember the Fab Five in Michigan. They idolized those former Canes. These are like cult phenomenon squads of yesteryear. And it all started with the U. Like, that's where it started. Nobody can contest that. I know no Miami fans will contest it. Say it's not all hate for me. But it was just a very, very special era of a team. Of a team. Whether we love them because it's the U. If it was another school, you would have loved them or hated them, regardless. You're not like, they're okay. I love them. I hate them. It's sort of like me.
Pretty much.
And by the way, as far as the nostalgic part, as far as being a legend, thank you for the compliment. If that was a compliment, I was a fan. Like you are, the way you look at the guys that you're meeting and everything. I was you in that era, looking at those guys like I idolized them. They were legends to me. Now I see them in a different light because they've gotten older, but they're still legendary figures to me as far as the University of Miami football program goes. They always will be.
Yep.
Always.
And I'm going to close with this. The biggest thing for me that I like now that we're starting to sit down with some former players is it takes off a lot of the pressure, not even pressure, but more just like BS that we get on social media that, you know, you're lying, you don't know what you're talking about, you don't know these guys, you don't talk to these guys. I run your social media. I see all of it. For me, that's what I'm looking most forward to. Finally, these people can finally see that you're on the in. It's no debate.
Is there really
listen,
even a question?
We know because we're with you all the time, but these people are not with you all the time, right? And when you hate somebody, you almost don't want to believe.
There's not one single player that has played ball at the University of Miami. Not one that I can't sit down with. Not one. Forget 10 or 100. Not one. Period. Or has been in my presence.
Yeah, they love you,
But
and to embrace you,
of course, and I love them back. I mean, it's a different relationship.
Yep.
I just had a conversation. Well, I've had a few conversations in the last couple of days because a lot of guys are watching the podcast and this and that and reaching out. And I just spoke to probably 3 or 4 guys in the last 2 or 3 days. You know who they are. And I was on FaceTime with these guys. And, man, these dudes were like almost in tears when they saw me. You know, it made me feel good. And I feel really bad about some guys that got caught up in that bullshit that I went through with the program. And, and there'll be that sit down when the time is right for me and all of them to really break bread and whatever. I could give a fuck. I was trying not to curse this whole podcast, but, I just can't control it. I could give a fuck what anyone thinks. Are you crazy? Oh, you don't know. I got 1,000 pictures. What do I Photoshop them? I don't even know how to turn on my phone. I'm a dinosaur.
Yeah, no, there's no debate, and that's what I'm saying. Now it's like it's really put to bed
stupid.
At this point. It
doesn't even matter.
Listen,
Who cares?
I don't. I don't pay any mind to it. But
anybody who wants to come sit here and watch me film a live podcast, and then name a player, and I'll put you on the phone with them, right in front of you. What are we talking about? What are we talking about?
It's just my own personal takeaway because of my perspective.
Anybody that really feels that they know something that I don't know, send a DM. Come sit down with me. Come sit down and watch this. Come have coffee with me. I don't care. Test your theories. Kick the tires.
We actually just dropped a new podcast called Beyond the Canes. That's going to be where we sit down with all the former Hurricanes. That's going to be on that platform. That's where the Benny Blades episode and Tolbert Bain is going to be uploaded to. So please like and subscribe to that one. It's dropping.
While you're in the middle of telling whatever viewers we have at the moment, why don't you have, I think you guys should write in as many questions as you have. Send as many questions as you have. Something that maybe I'm not covering. And I'm going to be bringing... This is not going to stop because it's easy. I don't work to do this. It just finds me,
So I think what you just said is we're doing fan questions part 3.
Man, just send as many questions as you want. 3. I don't care what it is.
Yep. So you heard it. Next episode for episode 10 too. It'll be our 10th episode. Fan questions part 3. So drop all your questions.
And if somebody out there thinks they have a show that's more direct or in-depth than this, please point them out to me. Please.
I don't think there's a Canes podcast out there that gets this raw. Please please subscribe, guys. We're going to be dropping videos every week. Next is Fan Questions Only Part 3. And as always, we'll catch you on the next one.